limit sessions. How do you feel about limit sessions?
I don't even know why you call it a limit session. I would just call this bouldering. Well, like, explain to me like what is a limit session.
Oh, it's like
you try hard and then you fall off.
Yeah, you're supposed to try until you fail.
It's not like a endurance session. Like that's the difference. It's like you're doing something that you might not get.
Yeah, well, or you're supposed to not get it. Like when we are setting these climbs up, like we could barely do it for the first couple of moves. That's why it feels
right. Like the exciting part is that you don't actually get it.
Yeah.
Like it's fun because you can't do it.
Right. You know, like in this section, like we're just doing warm-ups, but you know, pretty soon I'll be failing a bunch.
It looks like I'm almost failing. I had two pretty big footfalls there in a row.
Yeah. Well, I mean, oh, you did? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's not worth going back.
All right.
I think part of the magic of this will be just let it run.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, the warm-up section of this is interesting.
Surprisingly, on that, this has just come to my mind.
Yeah.
But on that corner where it's a little bit overhung today, when the light was there, you could see there were actually a lot more foot options than we had seen in the past.
Really?
Yeah, like when you're climbing and there's no sun, it's just that dark spot that looks like it's good, and you know where it is. That's the one we set into that climb there. But today the light was like at just the right angle that it was just like blowing up like 3 or 4 other like really nice footholds for coming across there. A little bit slopey, but they were definitely like, proper footholds. Mm. Which is like I feel in that section, I always just think of that whole like Chaucy area as being like nothing.
Yeah, kind of
like just have two, like maybe there's 2 things in there.
Well, everything's upside down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but actually not as today was proving.
Huh. No, I'd love to see some more footholds there. That would be delicious.
Nom, 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 nom. All right, so what? This is the first climb.
Yeah, this thing is like, I feel like we should rename most of this stuff because I gave it names and they're kind of dumb.
No, they don't need names. It's fine. Just leave them. Whatever you have on the video is okay.
All right.
But notably with this climb, I think you commented on your first commentary, is that middle foot, like that's right above that overhanging bar, is like nothing. Like it's like a fingernail. And that's like what makes it fun. You feel like you shouldn't be able to stand on that at all, and yet it's like surprisingly like.
It does feel like magic carpet style, where like it feels to your toe like it doesn't exist. And then you step up on it and you're just magically hanging out in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot of grip. I think when we were there, we were talking about how like amazing climbing shoes are. Just the fact that they can catch something like that, like it's just bananas. I mean, that barefoot guy probably couldn't use that.
I feel like he would probably hurt himself.
He's definitely gonna hurt himself. Yeah,
toe.
He'd have to use a crimp or something.
Or maybe he's just got massive calluses on his toes.
For sure, but in that it's like embedding in the shoe, like.
True.
There's like a very small spike like in the rubber. You know when you look at the bottom of your shoe, it's all cut up. Like that poor guy's foot.
Oh my god, gross. Do you feel like when you were climbing today that the red shoes were better for this, like the softer ones?
I didn't do this route.
Oh, you didn't do this one.
But I would say probably not. Honestly, like I have to be like really attentive to keep a foot on a very small hold. Like, and I notice like it has a very unique feeling when it pops off. That's just like, how to describe it? It's like just like loose rubber snapping off the edge of a corner. I can't think of a good analogy.
I don't like the visual that just came up in my mind.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's thoroughly like whatever you were thinking of. Yeah. I'm sure. All right, so this is the second climb. This is significantly harder than the first one, right? Like,
oh yeah, by like a lot. And I feel like the first move, at least for me, was look at you pointing. You're like fencing with this thing.
Go get some water.
I like how you have one arm tied behind your back, or it's in your chalk bag, but it looks like you're about to like spear me
Oh, with that stick.
with that stick.
It's incredibly helpful because my stupid laser pointers always out of battery.
And then you teabag the camera. That's a move.
I don't have any awareness of the camera when it's there. At this point, you bring it around so often, it's like,
Right, it just disappears.
yeah, it's just a prop.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the getting on this thing, first of all, is like...
Yeah, surprisingly negative, both of those handholds. Not surprisingly, I guess we
yeah.
made it, but like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like this side cling and ensuing sequence was like really challenging. This was a good designed problem, like a very well designed problem.
In the sense that it's difficult and has like an actual move or technique in it. That layback with like the reach up is like,
Yeah.
I don't know, feels technique-y.
Yeah, like I feel like in order to like get down to this hold there, the one that you start out in a Gaston, just like that.
That one that your right arm was just on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like in order to drop into that, you really have to like be in a good spot.
Yeah, and you're pulling quite a bit with your leg. Like you have to actually like absorb a lot of the fall with your toe.
Right.
And like kind of with your groin a little bit.
Yeah, like really tensing up your legs.
Yeah. Which is and actually that when you do come around the corner and you get that sloper that's in there, this is just classic. You can put like some like, you know, Slavic dancing music kind of, yeah, perfect. So I think it's that sloper that's in the undercut section. I wish I had a pointer and I could show what you're about to put your hand on right in there.
Yeah.
That's like, it's just like a uniquely different kind of rock. Like that face is like all curved and bubbly and like it's kind of textured in a weird way.
It's definitely a sloper. It's so slopery.
Yeah, it's so slopery. Yeah, it's cool because I feel like although this rock does have a lot of slopers on it, they're not like that, and it's just like funny like how cut out it is. And originally, remember we couldn't use it is like because that sharp bit on the bottom.
Oh right.
And that we busted off.
There's so many like holds that you're gonna bust one off in this video. Actually.
Yeah. Although surprisingly not like a lot of damage was done. I felt like that was a very like healthy break.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
it just made the hold better.
Yeah, right.
Huh. So
man, we do climb these a lot on repeat.
Oh yeah.
I guess this is the point. It's not really limit bouldering like because of this. This is more like endurance or like power training or technique.
Right.
Like we mostly just train technique, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how I think of it.
I suppose it's not quite limit bouldering until you get on it and the hold pops off and you fall on the ground.
Yeah, but no, even then it's not. There's nothing to do with limit bouldering. I don't know what, you're not at your limit. The rock is at its limit.
Well, something's at its limit.
At least someone's at their limit. Thank God. Otherwise, we'd just be out here practicing technique.
Well, I do feel like, you know, when we first start out on stuff like this, like we're gonna get to the green one, right? The one after this that gets second, and that feels like limit. Like
that's your climb, the one that you did to match.
I feel like after you bust this,
there it is.
This rock right
look at that, just see it. Oh, it's like a rap video and you hold it up to the thing. That's like may as well be your gold chain.
Yeah. But then it just got harder. Like I couldn't do it anymore. Or it took like a few tries to get it.
Well, we put the hold so high up, like we kind of had some options. I think you were like, "Oh, let's use that one." And then when you finally get up there, I think you'll be able to see it here. You're really out of reach.
Yeah.
and it does make it significantly different, at least.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'm gonna quantify limit bouldering in that. Like,
I just don't know if that label belongs here.
When we're finished here, my hands hurt like pretty good,
Right.
I feel like they're at the limit.
They were good. They're pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you're for sure at your limit on this right here until you get it. But I don't know. I guess that like the fact that we do it, we like do a problem that we can't do, and then we get it, and then we tend to rep it to get the technique really smooth.
Right.
Like I think that's like the loose format of our climbing.
Yeah.
It's like do something you can't initially do, then like practice it often from the middle, like from what is the hardest part. You just climb into the hardest part and do that bit.
Right.
And then after you get that, you kind of work the other parts of the problem, string them together, and then once you do it, we tend to climb a couple times in a row at least to like totally smooth out all the wrinkles.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like that's brought a lot of gains to us in the last season. I mean, I don't know. We've not bumped a lot of grades, but you know, we like did like a grade a year or something.
I definitely feel like my fingers are getting stronger from training in this way. Like where you know we're doing something that feels like just outside of our comfort zone, and then getting it, and then like doing the reps is like feels very power endurance oriented.
I think that was my original like to do it like when we were talking about like repping I don't know what quads or like you know
4x4.
Yeah, 4. It's not really 4x4, just 4. It's right. Originally, I saw that in some Andra video. It was like, yeah, I just do this hard problem and I just do it like 4 times in a row. Like it's like a set.
Yeah.
Like a hard set.
I feel like these are hard sets.
Yeah, they're hard sets. Oh, for sure. You're super tired afterwards, and surprisingly, like I sometimes go and I'm like, oh, we didn't really climb that much because we're outside But we climb as much here as in the gym, maybe more.
Yeah, we're definitely like getting right back on there really quickly.
Like I don't know how much the rest you're actually cutting out in here.
It's not that much. There's definitely like, I wouldn't say that there's more than like a 2-minute period in between tries.
Right. Do you ever cut out tries?
No. Almost never. There are things like where we can't even like get off the ground. We're
like in this.
Yeah, kind of like this, but I definitely didn't cut it.
Whoa! You just got the friggin' foot switch like right out the gate? That's the hardest part of this problem. Like
was
for
the foot switch?
People who don't see this or don't know what this is like, well, that and actually starting it. So surprisingly, this is exactly what it looked like today before I remembered that I could do it a different way. It was like, oh, it's just looking such a joke. That's it. The knee turned out is crucial, and being low, like,
yeah.
Oh, you're a master at that.
Doing the like ridiculous drop knee.
But like you had just gotten that foot switch, hey? That's super impressive. And then I don't think you got it again for like another couple tries.
No, I feel like there's savant energy.
There was. Oh, that was sick. You got it again.
Huh.
I just felt like that was so hard, and I never really dialed that. Even today, like it was when I did finally climb this. It was like I never felt like that was a high percentage move. I was just like, I'm gonna hope, because if your foot comes down like you are, it's a little bit dynamic where you're like busting one off and the other one has to quickly take its place. And if your foot doesn't go like right on the right spot, what I noticed afterwards is like, yeah, I might be able to get my foot there, but then once I went into the next move, like there was no adjusting that foot. Like it's so weighted.
Oh, this is interesting. Then we're figuring out that you can get to the other one first.
Right.
You also had a really interesting foot switch technique here, which is that like outer edge business.
The roll in, yeah. Yeah. Because what was happening was every time I pulled out my other foot, my foot would like I'd hit on the toe, and then it would just bust on past because either the angle was funny or whatever, but it seemed better to kind of like, there, I think right there I was talking about it. I'm like, I think you should roll it in.
I was surprised to see that you were landing on the outside.
We added that absolutely heinous foothold. It's not even a foothold.
Yeah, it's like a.
It's more of like a dimple or something.
It's just like a little pad.
It's like a little
It's like
negative
a
pad.
Dab.
Yeah.
Hanging out there. Yeah, you're definitely like this whole thing is about hanging off of crimps really hard. Like this is a finger killer.
Although what I found on that top crimp, that's the rest. Like you're so balanced in that first section. Yeah, that once you get that, you're like, you definitely feel like you're relaxing a little bit because the other part is just so balanced. Like you see, I just did foot switches like 3 times.
Yeah,
Like,
you're hanging on it.
It's really precarious the first section.
Huh.
And then I'm kind of curious about how we failed here because when you get that side pull, this is before we added that other negative crimp, I think, on the left hand.
Right. Oh yeah. For anyone who's watching this, we just designed
Right where Matt's penis is. I just added a new hold.
right then.
Right on the penis.
We're just adding shit on the fly. Like whatever happens is being added to this climb.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, with some like, it has to be difficult enough. Like it can't look super easy. We're not just grabbing any old jug.
Right.
Like that's just, come on, amateur hour over here.
It's not grabbing any old penis hole.
Can't just grab any old b-hole. All right. Goes from the beginning, gets the slopery crimp. Tries to fall. This is before I learned to take my foot off, take my back foot off before going.
I feel like getting that foot at all
is so hard. Yeah.
In the first bit there,
it's so hard.
Like you have to like put it on before.
You should climb in your jacket all the time. It looks hilarious.
It's cold as fuck out. That's the other thing about this morning here is. It's like 30 degrees out, but the rock is like, it's like grabbing onto the inside of your freezer.
Right. Yeah, quite literally. Like it's probably colder than your freezer.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. I don't know what the temperature of a freezer is, but it's probably not 22 degrees. It was like 25 or something.
It's just like sticking your hands in the ice box.
Right. And nice. Well, being in the light was helpful, but every time you step into the shadow, it's like...
Yeah, you said it was like a little warmer today. Like as soon as the light.
Yeah, once you had the sun on you. I went a bit later too, which made a big difference. There, see, back foot is off, just dabbing like crazy, and then it's all just touch and leaf.
Oh man, this whole thing! I can't wait to get this.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
I feel like this move kind of like I want it to represent what is happening on Great White. It's definitely a little bit more compact, so it's its own thing.
Yeah.
But definitely the feet are absolutely in line with Great White. The feet suck, and these feet suck horribly.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I was hoping for.
I think this is a great technology though. Like, since you do climb outdoors in other places, I do less of it, but like you can take climbs that and like try to find them on the rock, and they become their own thing, but you just use it off as a jumping off point.
Right.
And because sometimes, like, I mean, as creative as like I try to be when I'm out there by myself, it's like you just can't find things. You're limited by the holds that occur to you, and like different things would occur to you if you had like a structure set up in advance of what you were thinking of. Like you thought about a very specific part of Great White.
Right.